crying little.
Yoga.
Now, I really wanted to speak about this video that I saw that Roland Martin did. I used to watch his show on TV One. There's things that I do not agree with him on. People watch people that they disagree with or agree with some issues on. There's some things I agree with him with, so a lot of things that I don't. Because obviously he is a Democrat. He votes Democrat, and he is a part of that establishment. He is one of these people who need to wrangle in the black people for the Democratic establishment. And I heard two videos that totally turned me off. It's one thing to sit up here and talk about the HBCU that you went to, talk about how intelligent you are, and to come off as this intelligent person. And this is what I say about people who are not black. If you're so intelligent, you will be able to articulate yourself so someone will be able to understand your point of view, and you don't have to go so far. Since you are placing yourself on that pedestal of super intelligent, you should be able to keep your cool under pressure and be able to say what you need to say to have people understand you clearly. And Roland Martin comes off to me as this person who is a part of the upper middle class black people who look down on the poor black people. And he feels he's more intelligent, he's more qualified, and like he is a leader that is leading the simple poor ones to information that they need and be able to break it down where we can understand, because we can't understand if he doesn't break it down for us. So I wanted to play a little bit of him talking with his panel about giving black people a lesson, black people who talk about issues that's going on in our community, and also our push for reparations. But us that said, we will not vote Democrat anymore. We will not be going to the polls, wasting our time voting when nothing has changed. So he wants to tell you exactly why you need to get up and vote, and why this is a vote or die situation.
I'm purposely trying to walk a lot of you through this so you understand, because I keep saying on this show, we have to connect the dots. Yes. What you have to understand is that, guys, can you pull that map back up? If you can't, I'll pull it up out here. But let me know if you can pull that map up. The reason this map is important, the reason it's important for you to understand this, because this is where black people are. That's right, brother. Follow me here, folks. When we talk about gerrymandering, and again, you're not going to have folks explain this to you on these cable networks because they don't want to do that. Whoever controls the legislature draws not just congressional districts, but the state districts. They draw state Senate districts, state representative districts, which means that what they'll do is they will draw the state districts in their favor so they can maintain control, which is why Republicans have a supermajority in Florida. Democrats can't do jack. They used to have a supermajority in North Carolina. until the last election, Democrats were able to convince these white folks like, yo, y'all getting screwed too. They've got supermajorities in a number of places. What does that mean? That means they can pass whatever they want. Democrats can't do jack. They can yell, scream, do whatever. So the gerrymandering thing, folks, ain't about Congress. It's really about the state seats. So if you were able to draw competitive state seats, you're likely not to see whether they are red or blue, Democrat or Republican. You're likely not to see one party ruling the legislature. That's the difference. And so this is critically important for people to understand that for all you simple Simons who sit your asses at home, who don't vote, but bitch about issues, if you don't vote for your state rep, and you don't vote for your state senator, those are the people who are drawing the districts, not the members of Congress. The state representative and the state senator is drawing the very district, the member of Congress. The member of Congress has no power whatsoever in the drawing of their own congressional district.
That's right.
Right, and which is why it's particularly dangerous that we have a political party that's entertaining Russia infiltrating our elections and having no problem with that, and starting to now get into the business of being okay with election interference on that micro level. And we don't even know about the details in Florida because they won't tell us.
But also, again, for you simple Simon ass people who really get on my nerves when it comes to this stuff, what you have to understand is not just even a question of who is now drawing the districts. It now then goes to what Republicans are doing. And again, you can be a Republican, that's fine with me, but prove to me I'm wrong when in Michigan the voters put it on the ballot, a state amendment, a ballot initiative for there to be an independent commission to draw the districts, and Republicans say, we're going to ignore that.
Right.
All right. Well,
Right.
because they
We're just going to ignore it.
I think
We're going to ignore it.
you keep referring to the simple Simons, right?
Okay, I wanted to pause it there because it is 22 minutes long. And I can leave the actual video in the description. But yeah, I set up and I listened to all of it. And the whole thing about calling people simple Simons, and it gets worse. I'm going to skip to that part, but yeah, I'll leave it in the description box so you can hear the whole thing. It was disgusting, it's offensive, but yet he was the one who doesn't like racial epithets, and he wanted to conduct his show, with some type of respect, but yet he is saying, these things and talking about black people the way a racist white nationalist would talk about black people, because he's throwing a temper tantrum because he's big mad because black people are saying, they will not support a Democratic candidate for president, is what they're saying. Like I said, I vote locally. There's a lot of people who vote locally, but to be honest, there are a lot of people who get their bread and butter and their butter biscuits from having someone in the White House that is Democrat. And Roland Martin is one of them. He has been in situations with Hillary Clinton. I do believe that he is still angry about that situation. He had her on the show, and it's interesting that Hillary did not get elected, and he basically lost his show. I do believe he was a CNN commentator at one point, and they basically let him go. He has his show, Roland Martin Unfiltered, on YouTube, which is specifically his, and he has about 300,000 subscribers, and I do believe he's resentful to black people for not voting, because I was one of those people who did not vote in the last election with Trump and Hillary. And I'm one of these people who say I will not vote again during this election because it is a waste of time. Democrats have had power. Democrats have been hand in hand with Republicans. To be honest, there's not two parties. It's not three parties. It's just not. These people know each other. These people are working toward the same end. They just want to get there in a different way. You can see the Democrats are trying to pretend like they, are so scared of Trump, and Trump is just beating them into the ground. And no, they agree with what Trump is doing. They will use him because he himself is simple-minded, but they will use him as the person who, this was a post-racial world, and the racism came about, and the attacks and everything else that's happening that is racially motivated and discriminatory. And there's nothing that can be done about this, and it's all Trump. They use him as the pansy, as if they have no hand in this. The whole gerrymandering, this is not something that came about in the last few years. This has been going on for quite a while, and there has been quite a few Democrats within power while this has been going on. So to set up here and think that, there are 2 or 3 parties, no, these people work hand in hand. They may have some differences and infighting, but there's no difference. And black people are not on the agenda. Black people were not on the agenda for Trump at all. And he only talks about unemployment numbers that are not, realistic. They are not showing you what's really going on out here. Also, on the Democratic side, I watch the debates. I didn't hear anything about black people. Black people got paired up with the LGBT, and black people got paired up with Hispanics, but there was nothing specific talked about for black people and what we've been going through. And Kamala Harris herself cut off a Caucasian woman who was bringing up reparations, but then she wanted to talk to Joe Biden about busing. And to be honest, I don't care about Joe Biden working with people who were against integration, because myself, I'm against integration. Integration was the worst thing that ever happened to black people. It was. Like, I understand the fight and what people were fighting for, but integration really hurt us bad. And then the 2007-2008 Great Recession really sucked what little bit of wealth black people had. And like I said, in a few short years, we will be at zero wealth. And this is while Democrats and Republicans respectively have been in office. So like I said, they've been working towards the same end. Black people are not on the agenda. I was waiting to hear something about reparations. I didn't hear a damn thing. I don't hear anything about what we go through, our hardships, what we're experiencing in this country, what we need. And since nobody wants to talk about that, And everybody wants to do this all lives matter. We're going to link you up with LGBT. We're going to link you up with DACA. We're going to link you up with the immigrants in the case. We're just going to, talk about you in that context. Not really talking about anything of substance. I mean, that tells us that you don't give a damn. And so since you don't give a damn, why should I go out of my way to possibly have to leave my job and make preparations? There's people with children, there's people who don't have vehicles, they don't have transportation, they have little money, and you want black people to go out of their way to go vote for Democratic candidates that are not going to do a goddamn thing for us. None of them will take up the reparation issues and our economic decline. Nobody gives a damn. So now when black people say middle finger to the Democratic Party, then the establishment wants to go get one of their pansies and someone that they pay for, and they want to have him shame us and call us names and get big mad because this is not only affecting him, but it's affecting them. And all I have to say is what they better do is they better rally up as many Caucasian people. They better rally up as many non-black people as they can, Asians, Hispanics. They better get their numbers that way, because there's a lot of black people who are not having it. There's a lot of black people who are saying that they are going to set out. And I believe that there's more black people now than last year that are saying they are not going to waste their time, because it is an absolute waste of time to vote for the Democratic Party that doesn't do anything for us. And all of the candidates that were up there speaking, they have not shown that they care anything about black people in their previous positions.
Simple for me. This is real simple. If I support civil rights and Professor Driscoll don't support civil rights, I don't give a damn what the letter is.
Yes.
I support civil rights.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask the question,
Yes.
do you support civil rights?
Yes.
Right.
If the person says no, I ain't voting for your ass. This ain't hard. Now, if there happen to be more Democrats who support civil rights and more Republicans who don't support civil rights, who the hell you think I'm going to vote for?
Bro,
The one who supports civil rights.
let me make this point, because you today, with this immigration bill that just passed the Senate, who did we see that voted no against that bill when it first came on the floor in the House? It was Ocasio-Cortez, it was Ayanna Pressley, it was Ilhan Omar, and it was Rashida Tlaib. Now, they are Democrats, but what they said is, you can't just give money to Donald Trump. He's not going to spend it for the children. You got to take these D's and R's off. What is your interest?
And
What
look,
you making
the
for?
Democrats, Lauren, passed an election bill today.
Yes.
184 people voted against it. How many of those were Republican?
Yeah.
All of them?
Right.
Only one Republican
Come on.
out of Florida, whose district the Russians access
Right.
voted
Right.
for paper ballots.
Right.
Now again, I'm going to say this again for you simple Simon motherfuckers. Because I'm tired of this.
Unfiltered.
I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all with this silly ass, who ain't done this with an agenda. Let me explain it again, because y'all are clueless. Donald Trump put on the federal bench for life a white woman who is 35 years old.
From Georgia.
Now, I wanted to stop that there, and that's where I'm going to end this video, because it is absolutely ridiculous and it's a lot of vitriol in his voice. Now, you heard him call black people Simple Simon MFers, because these Simple Simon MFers refuse to vote Democrat. Now, I want to say to this MFer, Roland Martin, who is clearly in bed with the establishment, that each person has the right to vote, right? And each person also has the right not to vote. So he's the one who is pressed because black people do not want to vote for his establishment that he works for and panders to. And as black people, you are not Simple Simon MFers just because this establishment whore says you are. If you don't want to vote, you don't have to vote. The establishment is putting people before you, saying you need to choose between this person, and this person. You don't have to. If you want to write it in, if you want to go vote, you can do that. But if you don't want to vote because you are sick and tired of these parties, which is actually one, if you are sick and tired of not being heard, if you're sick and tired of not having an agenda and not having candidates who can speak specifically to your community issues, if you are tired of it all, you have the right to sit home and relax and not give two fucks about a Roland Martin or a Democratic Party. They don't want to speak about reparations. They don't want to cut the check. They don't want to deal with the issues of people being gunned down. They don't want to deal with police brutality and martial law, because that's what it is here in the black community. That's martial law. Nobody talked about our issues specifically. They want to talk about fucking Joe Biden as if anybody gives a damn about that. But this really got underneath my skin, that this establishment whore would sit up here and talk down to the very people that he wants to vote for, the people he panders to. Like, he really feels that he can abuse, and this is something that I'm noticing within the community and outside of the community. They think they can abuse and denigrate, and then just they feel like that's where black people's mentality is. If you beat them enough across the head, they'll do what you say. So all I have to say is just show them that you will not be controlled. You will not go out of your way to vote for a system and in a system that does not give two fucks about you. And I'm going to say, for me, specifically for me, I'm not voting. That's one. Two, I'm going to convince as many people as I possibly can not to.